Elon Musk says OpenAI betrayed its mission. Sam Altman says the future of AI needs scale. Somewhere between those two sentences sits the biggest fight in artificial intelligence. Hello, I am Mahesh Devalla, Chief Technology Officer, author, and strategic advisor to companies on AI across US, Europe, and India. Welcome to my channel where we cut through the noise of AI and focus on what truly is valuable for business, leadership, and the future. Today we are looking at one of the most important fights in the technology world, Elon Musk versus Sam Altman. On the surface, it looks like a lawsuit, a founders dispute, another Silicon Valley drama with billionaires, lawyers, and boardrooms. Funnily, there is enough ambition and ego in the dispute that makes even a data center ask for backup power. Keeping that fun aside, this fight is not only about money, it's not about control, it's not about who said what in a meeting years ago. This is about one uncomfortable question. Can artificial intelligence be built for humanity while also being funded, controlled, and scaled by some of the most powerful institutions on earth? That's a tough question. Unfortunately, the answer is not as simple as the question itself. Musk's argument is simple. OpenAI began with the promise to build artificial intelligence for the benefit of humanity. His claim is that company moved too far from that original promise. Altman's argument is also simple. Frontier AI cannot be built like a small research hobby. It needs compute, it needs capital, it needs infrastructure, it needs talent, and it needs scale. And behind that scale, there is very physical reality of data centers, chips, energy, and engineers, so on. Billions of dollars move across before a single user sees the magic. The dream may feel digital, the cost is very physical. The mission of AI sounds noble, but the infrastructure is brutal. You cannot build the future of artificial intelligence with speeches, nostalgia, and a laptop from 2015. Good intentions may shape the machine, but GPUs power the machine. Unfortunately, GPUs do not accept founders' nostalgia mission statements as payment. Maybe Nvidia's balance sheet or stock price gives all of us a better picture of what that is. Musk is not only a critic anymore, he is a competitor. He has XAI, he has Grok, he has X, he has Tesla, he has data, distribution, attention, and the rare ability to turn a legal fight into a global media event before breakfast. That's Musk for you. Most people need a big PR team for that. Musk just needs a single tweet and a charging cable. That's all. Whereas Altman influence is built differently. He has OpenAI, he has ChatGPT, he has enterprise adoption, he has Microsoft as a major partner. Additionally, he has developers, he has consumers, companies, and governments watching every move OpenAI make. OpenAI is not just a company anymore, it's a global pressure cooker with a product roadmap. The harder question sits underneath it. It is not simply morality versus money question. That would be too easy. This is mission versus scale question, idealism versus infrastructure question, public good versus platform power question. This pressure now stretches across the entire AI race. Site begins with founding promise. OpenAI was created in 2015 with a mission that sounded almost heroic. Build artificial intelligence for the benefit of humanity. Keep it safe, keep it broadly useful. Prevent a future where one company, one government, or one closed system controls the most powerful intelligence on earth. That was a very emotional contract. The word open carried weight. The non-profit structure created trust. The safety mission gave the company moral authority. OpenAI began with the word open in its name. That creates expectations. You cannot name a restaurant free food and then act surprised when people ask for the menu. Musk's claim is that OpenAI slowly moved away from that promise. The company became more commercial, the models became less open. And then Microsoft became deeply involved. The mission statement started sounding public while the machinery started looking private. That is a serious concern in Musk's view. Musk is not simply arguing about branding, he is asking whether the structure still matches the promise. If the future is being built for everyone, why does the control look so concentrated? That contradiction sits at the center of the AI race. AI is not a normal software. This is not a photo filter. This is not another productivity app. And unfortunately, this is not a slightly smarter calendar invitation that still somehow schedules the meeting at the worst possible time. Advanced AI could influence education, healthcare, defense, markets, jobs, elections, creativity, and the way people understand reality itself. We've seen so many examples these days to confirm if an image or video is real or AI generated. That level of power makes governance unavoidable. Musk's strongest argument is not about the past, it is the trust. If an organization earns trust by saying it exists for humanity, then public has every right to ask whether the business model still protects that promise. That's the heart of this case. A non-profit mission creates moral authority. Moral authority attracts talent. Talent builds technology. Technology creates value, and value attracts capital. And that capital creates tension and loud noise. That loud noise is coming from Microsoft. At some point, the original mission has to survive the weight of the machine it helped build. That is where OpenAI became perfect symbol of the AI age. Every AI company wants to sound like a public servant and scale like a private empire. The mission says humanity, and the infrastructure bill says billions, and the lawyer says, please define humanity in section 4.2. That may sound like a satire, but it is actually the operating reality of frontier AI. Frontier AI now requires capital, compute, infrastructure, partnerships, and speed. Each one of these things tests the strength of the original mission. Musk sees that contradiction and attacks it. His side is saying OpenAI cannot use the language of public good while operating like a closed, capital-hungry platform company. The moral case is clear, the emotional case is powerful, and the hesitation is understandable. The tricky part is Musk himself. He is not only standing outside the arena warning people about danger, he is inside the arena building his own fighter. He has XAI, he has Grok, he has X, he has Tesla, he has one of the most powerful distribution networks in technology. That makes the argument more complicated. When Musk says OpenAI lost the mission, some people hear principle, some people hear rivalry, some people hear both. That conflict is exactly what makes this story so compelling. Silicon Valley somehow loves these mission statements. They look beautiful on websites, they look good on posters. Then the capital table arrives and asks for a board seat. That's the reason I would not dismiss Musk's argument. The question he raises is real. The concentration of AI power is real. The tension between public mission and private scale is really real. At the same time, public should not confuse a valid question with a pure motive. In technology, motives are rarely pure. They are usually a cocktail. One part principle, one part ambition, one part competition, and one part legacy. Generally served very cold, usually by attorneys. That's the Musk side. He is forcing the world to ask whether OpenAI is still living up to the promise that made it trusted in the first place. That question still deserves attention even when the person asking it is also building a rival. Altman's side begins with a different reality. OpenAI may have started with a non-profit mission. The world around it did not stay non-profit. The AI race changed, the cost changed, the competition changed, and the stakes changed too. Building frontier AI became less like running a research lab and more like building a new industrial system for intelligence. That is Altman's strongest argument. A mission without execution is a beautiful poster, and execution without mission is a machine without a conscience. OpenAI's challenge is that it needs both. ChatGPT changed the public perception of AI. Before ChatGPT, AI was something many people read about, invested in, or heard about in conference rooms and in university talks. After ChatGPT, AI became something people touched. Students used it, regular people liked it, CEOs loved it, small businesses embraced it, and governments and different countries paid attention to it. Let me tell you, that shift was not small, it was tremendous. OpenAI did not only build a model, it built a movement in technology. It turned AI from a technical conversation into a global consumer behavior. Plenty of companies have research papers. Very few create products that make the world collectively say, "Can I use this now? Can I take it home? Can I use this in my company?" Altman's argument was simple. If OpenAI wanted to build frontier AI at global scale, it needs capital, it needs compute, it needs chips, it needs data center, it needs infrastructure, it needs enterprise trust, and finally it needs a distribution channel like Microsoft. Noble intent does not train models, compute does. And compute needs GPUs, and unfortunately, GPUs are not moved by mission statements. They prefer electricity, money, and very cold rooms. All of this needs money. That is where the real story becomes uncomfortable for everyone. The more powerful AI becomes, the more expensive it becomes to build. The more it depends on capital, the harder it becomes to look purely like a public interest company. At some point, the mission met the invoice, and the invoice was not cheap. That is the AI paradox. OpenAI may have faced a brutal choice: stay pure and become irrelevant, or raise capital and risk looking compromised. Let me tell you, neither of the options are clean. Somehow, the internet loves clean heroes and clean villains, which are very rare in real world. Altman's side would say this is a survival mechanism. In a world where Google, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, Anthropic, and xAI all are fighting for talent, chips, and distribution, OpenAI could not remain a small idealistic lab and still shape the future. That is not greed alone, that is scale. It needs billions of dollars in compute, thousands of people, safety teams, product teams, legal teams, cloud partnerships, enterprise customers, and global scrutiny. That kind of machinery needs fuel. The question is, if the fuel that it needs changes the direction of the vehicle is a bigger question. That is where Altman's challenge begins. If he argues the scale was necessary, he also has to prove the scale did not swallow the mission. If OpenAI says it is building for humanity, then humanity has a fair question. Who governs the company when the incentives get complicated? That is the burden of leadership at this level at OpenAI. Altman is not simply running another software company. He is running one of the most watched institutions in the AI era. Every partnership looks strategic. Every model release looks geopolitical. Every delay looks suspicious. Every safety decision looks philosophical. Every boardroom disagreement looks like a trailer for the future of AI. That may sound dramatic. In AI, it is increasingly normal. OpenAI success also created a new problem. The more people use ChatGPT, the more powerful OpenAI becomes. The more powerful OpenAI becomes, the more world questions its accountability. Success does not reduce scrutiny, it actually multiplies it. That is why Altman's side cannot simply say, "Trust us." Trust has to be designed, governance has to be visible, conflicts have to be managed, safety has to be credible, and power has to be explained. Musk is exceptional at creating pressure from the outside. Altman is exceptional at building pressure inside the system. One is a storm, the other is an architect. One shakes the room, the other redesigns the room while everyone is still arguing about the furniture. The real split begins here. Musk frames the issue as a mission betrayed. Altman frames it as a mission that had to evolve to survive. Musk says the promise changed. Altman says the world changed. Both lines are powerful. The real issue is not whether OpenAI needed money. Of course, it needed money. The real issue is whether the company can take massive capital, build massive power, and still remain accountable to a mission larger than itself. That is the difficult part. Many companies claim they are changing the world, but honestly, most are trying to improve a workflow, sell a platform, or make quarterly numbers look respectable. OpenAI is different. It is operating in a space where the product could influence how people learn, write, code, decide, create, work, and eventually delegate action. That puts Altman in a rare position. He is not only selling AI tools, he is helping define the social contract around machine intelligence. That is why the criticism cannot be ignored. OpenAI's scale is impressive, its influence is undeniable, its product impact is historic, and this historic power requires a higher standard. The public does not only need better models, it needs confidence that institutions building those models are worthy for the power they are accumulating. That is the Altman's side. He is arguing that AI cannot reach global impact without global scale infrastructure. He might be true. He might be honest as well. But the question that remains is sharper. Can OpenAI scale like a company while still addressing its mission? It's a question only Altman can answer. If this perspective is giving you a clear way to think about AI and power, take a second to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for our channel. And subscribe for more clear analysis on AI, business, and leadership. It means a lot. My take is simple. The Musk versus Altman fight is not really about the past. It is about who gets to write the rules for the future. This is the first great custody battle for artificial intelligence. One side says you abandon the mission, the other side says you cannot build a machine without scale. Somewhere between those two arguments sits the uncomfortable truth about modern AI. Everyone says they want AI to help humanity. The difficult part is that humanity rarely gets a board seat. Everyone wants the machine to sound public, but the control somehow keeps becoming private. This is not only about hypocrisy. This is the human nature at trillion-dollar scale. AI was supposed to make machines smarter. Instead, it is giving humans a very expensive mirror. Control, recognition, legacy, money, moral authority, and market dominance. The models may be artificial, but ambition is painfully human. The future of AI will not be decided only by which model is smarter. It will be decided by which company earns trust, builds infrastructure, manages safety, attracts developers, survives regulation, and turns intelligence into useful products without losing its moral center. The future of AI will be decided there. Musk understands attention better than almost anyone on earth. Altman understands institutional power better than almost anyone in AI space. AI may need both forces. The danger begins only when these forces become unchecked. The AI era will demand ambition with accountability, scale with transparency, speed with safety, and capital with conscience. The trial will eventually end. The larger question will not. OpenAI may win or Musk may win. Both may lose something in public trust. The AI race will continue either way. The real question is much bigger than who wins in the court, which is when artificial intelligence becomes the operating system of business, government, education, healthcare, creativity, and daily life, who should control it? A non-profit mission? A corporate board? A billionaire founder? A strategic partner? A regulator? Or the public? That's a trillion-dollar question, and the question will not disappear anytime soon. Elon Musk versus Sam Altman is not just a feud, it is a preview of the AI power struggle ahead. The next AI war will not be fought only with models. It will be fought with trust, capital, distribution, regulation, talent, and public perception on AI. Additionally, it will be fought in labs, boardrooms, courtrooms, and occasionally through a tweet that moves faster than the legal counsel. The side that wins will not simply have the smartest AI, it will have the strongest claim to legitimacy. Musk versus Altman is only the headline. The deeper story is who gets to own AI power. The courtroom may decide the case, but the world still has to decide who deserves power over intelligence. Thank you for watching. If this gave you a new way to think about AI, please subscribe to the channel. I am Mahesh Devalla. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you.